3 key things construction project managers do to reduce risk. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 3 things that you can do as a PM specifically in your role to keep an eye on this, to keep the project safe, to preserve your career, and to be able to sleep well at night. So we'll give you these 3 techniques and give you eyes to see. Stay with us. All right, so risk management is this beautiful world. Risk happening isn't beautiful, but when you get used to risk management and identifying risks, and when you create a culture of being able to find them and deal with them, this is amazing. So let me talk to you about a couple of things. I used to participate when I was a superintendent in these risk management efforts. And we would go through for different phases and activities in the project and say what could happen. And we would identify them and attach days and dollars to each one. I thought it was fantastic. And then I read a book called How Big Things Get Done. It's a book everyone in the industry needs to read. It's fantastic. And he talks about it's not just about identifying and mitigating risks. It's also about anchors. That means if you have a certain type of project, go find representative information for that type of project and find out what risks they encountered, what problems they had, how far they may have overrun budget or schedule, and if that's likely to happen to you as well. And so that expanded my mind, and nowadays we put anchor and risk information in the risk and opportunity registers early on in pre-con, and we manage it throughout the project. So it's quite fantastic. The other thing I want to say, there is no such thing as problems on a project being a problem. The only problem on a project is thinking you don't have problems and then you don't find them and see them and fix them. So we must use the IDS method, identify, discuss, solve. So when I say beautiful, it's a beautiful thing when you get that mindset and your project team does as well. So let me go ahead and give you the 3 steps or the 3 key focuses for risk management or risk reduction for you in your role. Number 1 is comprehensive risk assessments. So when you assess risk, this will happen a couple of different times, and I'm pretty excited about this. So when you start the project, just like I've explained in the how to run a project step by step, you will go through your prime agreement and your Division 1 specifications and really look for anything that the team needs to know about from a due diligence standpoint. And you will sit the team down with a plan in what I call the fresh eyes or risk review meeting in pre-construction, and you will find your risks and you will anchor the project. Now you are empowered with 2 key documents. Number 1, what are the things from the contract and the Div 1 specs that the team needs to know? Number 2, what are the risks that we need to know about and what are we going to do about them? And so when you do that, you are automatically set up for success because the entire team can see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group. Now, throughout the project, oh my gosh, this is so good. Throughout the project, you will constantly anchor back to that and be looking for new risks and working on the old ones, okay? Absolutely crucial practice no matter what you're doing. Now, as a project manager, you're probably thinking, I got multiple projects, I got a big job. Here is the key. Every person on the job is assigned to the risk. You don't have to do everything yourself. So if somebody on your team, and I explain this in the step-by-step guide, is you break up the project, the people know the requirements, they know the risks, they have geographical control, meaning your supers and your assistant PMs and your field engineers and PEs have geographical assignments, geographical control. They are also responsible for the abating or the mitigation of those risks in those areas, and now I've got all of my bases covered. Number 2, effective communication and documentation. This is huge and it's not the same thing. Okay, so when you have risks, it has got to be documented in an authorized location. So let me paint a picture. I say this all the time when it comes to the procurement log or procurement on a schedule or your supply chain managed in some logical way. But let's just use the procurement log to start with. It's a much different conversation. Let's say that you have you're 2/3 of the way into a project, right? And your vendor calls and says, hey, the switchgear won't be here next month. Now it's going to be here in 7 months, right? And then you go to the owner saying, well, now it's going to be 7 months. Our project is delayed. And then the owner's like, well, show me what happened, blah, blah. And you're like, that's just what they told me on the phone. That is a much different conversation than, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, I just got information. First of all, we're flying to the location, to the vendor. We are going to validate it. We are sourcing other suppliers. We are right now working with the engineers to see if there's another type of equipment or another brand name that we can use, right? Another type, another specified type. We're doing all of these things, but let me show you this. This is the data that we have right now and the delay, and here's how we can potentially recover. This is how we've been tracking it along the way in our meetings, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the procurement log before we actually started the project with the associated risk. So here's the procurement log that we had before we started. Here it is now. This is the delta. This is what we're doing about it. That is a much different conversation. So if you have risks that go in the risk and opportunity register, document it. You have risk in your procurement log, document it. You have risk in your production plan, document it. Everything is documented. And as you go, it goes on the OAC meeting minutes every time you find one of these things. That way it's all traceable and we're working on it as a team. And then number 3, if we don't do anything about these risks, then like I said, in other instances, it's kind of a waste of time. So if you've identified them and you've documented them, now the key item is to do something about it. So most of the projects that I've seen where the project team knows the gross profit targets, they're like, here's the gross profit. This is the target. I believe it's Goodhart's law that says once a measurement becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measurement. What that means to me, at least, is that once the team is fixed on the gross profit deal that was set up, they are looking at that number, and what will always happen is any problems will be subtracted and you'll always end up with less gross profit. But when you actually look at documented, well-documented risks on a risk and opportunity register, you're always attempting to save money by getting rid of risks, and which means getting rid of the risk, but you're gaining money. And you're always attempting to do better for your gross profit if you have any opportunities. It could come from rentals, it could come from labor gains, it could come from the cost of work in a lump sum contract. However you're attempting to do it, you also have opportunities. And instead of that gross profit target being what it is minus whatever you've messed up, now you're in a sky's the limit mentality where you're attempting to do the best that you can. So the key here is it all goes on a log and it all is proactively tracked, at least in the team meeting, where every week the person responsible, the OPER, the one person ultimately responsible, reports out on what is being done to get rid of the days and dollars risked for that item. And that is the key. So we must implement it. And those are the 3. Number 1, identify them. Number 2, document them. Number 3, work with your team at least on a weekly basis to get rid of them. Because some things we do want, like opportunities, some things we don't, like risks. Like for instance, when you're clicking around on YouTube, you're like, oh, there's Jay Money. I want that channel. Well, if you want it, go ahead and click subscribe. But you get my point. We're going to do better in all instances. And I love this topic. I've said this a couple of times. But I love this topic so much, we're going to put it into a Canva graphic for you so that you can take it and use it when you need it in your role. The other thing that I want to explain is that in pre-construction and construction, we are geniuses at Elevate and LeanTact at doing a review and even hosting these meetings for you. When you need us, we are ready to go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.